Hi, I'm Therese Swenson, and this is still the new normal, wearing masks. So with COVID, it's been about a year, and we're having really good news that a lot of people are getting immunized. There are those that have contracted the disease and may have antibodies, and we still need to wear masks. I found this article that says even after the vaccination, you may still need to wear a mask. And it talks about how no vaccine's 100% effective, so there might be a few people that may still contract the virus. And vaccines may not prevent you from spreading coronavirus, even though it may keep you from getting it. You may still be processing. They clearly prevent illness. They need more time to figure out whether they prevent transmission too. So the thing about this is usually there's like a 2-year study that goes with your vaccines before it's put out in the public, where they've tested people, they know the reactions. But because this was put out so early, this year that we're all having symptoms, we're all reporting them, and they're being able to know better how effective it is. Masks protect people with compromised immune systems. So anybody that has high allergies, you may not be encouraged to get the vaccine right away until it's modified, because people that use an EpiPen, they're saying if you're highly allergic, you may not want to get this vaccine right away. So you need to find out from your doctor if you're a candidate. Also, people that have asthma. If you have breathing issues and you're compromised breathing, you may wish to consider talking to somebody if this is the right thing for you to do to get this vaccine. Anyway, there is some discussion that after you've had the vaccine, you may wish to wait a couple weeks before you feel in your group, in your pod, after everybody's had the vaccine, you should be able to get together with your family and friends without masks. What we're asking about masks is that when you go out in public, when you're in a building with other people, or potentially passing people in halls, or riding in an elevator, protect yourself, wear a mask. We have new variants that are coming that this vaccine will probably protect you from going to the hospital, but you may or not have symptoms to other variants to this virus. Anyway, about COVID, it's the least you can do to protect yourself and others. I love this new mask idea that doesn't go around your ears. This one, my friend Jane in Eugene, it kind of just goes up like that, and then you can take it down to eat. And then it has a bottom string on the bottom you can tighten up. So it's 2 strings. I don't know if you can see. Anyway, I love these masks my friend Jane sent. She started out donating them to hospitals and clinics, and she kept improving them. And this one has like a 3-way panel, so it has a little more room. And enough about masks. Anyway, I like to encourage everybody to get the paper. It's something that I'm always saying. Your local paper here comes out once a week, and we have South Siskiyou papers, and we have a North Siskiyou paper. Mostly people get a paper in the old days. I'm dating myself by saying people used to get a paper when they were looking for a job or a car or rentals or apartments or pets or merchandise or garage sales. There were so many reasons that people used to get a paper that now people feel confident that, oh, I get that on social media. But really, in your own community, a weekly paper is so full of so much information. On Sundays, we used to get the Sunday paper because we loved the funnies. Now, I do notice that the Wairika paper, the Siskiyou Daily News, it has a page of the Siskiyou Daily News. I don't know if you can get a close-up of that. And that paper actually does have cartoons. The Mount Shasta Herald, Weekly, Dunsmuir, and Weed don't have cartoons. But the Wairika paper, the difference between the Wairika paper and the Southern papers is the market. In South County, most people shop at Ray's. We have 2 Ray's markets. So the Ray's advertisement for each week, the specials. But in Siskiyou County paper, for Wairika, it has the Rayleighs. So people that are looking for those ads, I like to get both papers. They have a lot of interesting supplements, whether it's Parade or Relish, which is ideas for cooking, or Parade that has your favorite kind of people stories. So I like to get those because they're always interesting and they give me a new idea. I want to remind you that when you buy the paper once a week, you get so many like coupons. Like, for example, you might save money on a pizza. I'm going to be holding up a few things, John, so we can go to... I like to remind you that it comes with advertisements. And like I was looking at this and I thought, well, $4 off. This is allergy time. If you feel like you need to get allergy medicines, those are on sale right now. Also gardens. People are working in their gardens, so there's different dirt that's on sale or seeds or whatever you might need in your garden. So I want to remind you that this helps you save a few dollars. That's a good reason to get a paper if it helps you save money. And also the local Rite Aid. So not only do you have the funnies that you might want on the Sunday papers, but our local paper also has a wonderful fun section right now. Everybody's been really active about writing into the letter to the editor, whether it's about a story or something that's coming up. So letters to the editor is a fun way to, if you have something you want to say, you want to speak out to the community, do that. Also, there's a TV guide. And most people have satellite dishes or menus, but this is fun to flip through. Sometimes I go through just to look and see something that's coming up. I might mark it on the calendar, but it also has a crossword. And nowadays you may not want to sit down with a pencil and paper and fill in all the holes, but if you're with somebody, you could just ask them all the questions just to do brain stimulation. The paper over in Klamath has a large kids section. I've suggested to our paper that we do something like that to encourage kids to read the paper, because there's a lot going on in the paper for kids. Like as the sports season kicks up again, our local paper, we used to always run, in fact, they're doing it here. They run kind of some of the sports. We have a good sports author that will tell you what's going on with the kids in sports is on the top of the page. And anyway, I love this headline. It's soliciting employees for Crystal Geyser, but it says, "Welcome to your future. Every day is a new day and a new opportunity." A lot of times we kind of get burdened down with where we would be if we had made different choices. We're on a road of life and we take a Y in the road and we go different ways, and sometimes things don't go the way we expected. So we have to accept that every day's a new day. And even though whatever you wanted to happen yesterday, or you're burdened by something somebody said or did or took, or just something that didn't go right, today's a new opportunity to just accept where we are today, whether or not we're affected by other people. We have a new opportunity every day. And we're losing minutes today if we really keep telling people the old story. So health-wise, we need to get out and get walking. Some of these different magazines like Prevention or Reader's Digest, they have reasons to get outside, like 18 reasons to love walking. Not only right now do we need vitamin D to help protect us against this virus, you soak up sunshine and that gives you vitamin D. Aches and pains can't catch up with you if you're walking. And it's kind of fun to, maybe some people have Apple Watches and they want to see how far they go. And there's different apps where people can actually compete with each other. There's an exercise app that might suit your personality. Like some participants do this randomly assigned, it's a game where they actually hook up and compete with other people or themselves on how many steps they take in a day. I've heard of other friends doing that. It's powerful medicine for your mind. If you're outside You're not watching the news, which might depress you or make you happy. You're getting new input, fresh air, fresh smells. This is spring. Everything's going into bloom. You might have trouble with allergies. So think about getting the eye drops for allergy medicine, or you can get nasal sprays, or Benadryl or something might make you sleepy. So keep that in mind. There is a Claritin D, which doesn't make you sleepy. If you're working at home, you don't want to get tired. But we are coming into allergy time. And so people need to just treat that so that we can let all the plants do their thing. Oh, speaking of plants doing theirs, John, I have a couple pictures about welcome pollinators. And one of the things I like to encourage people to start gardening, and my welcome pollinator sign shows a little box of how it's got different ways that little bugs can get in there and reproduce different pollinators. And so you can make your own. I've seen some shows on TV where they tell you, just take a box of any kind and fill it with pine cones and maybe some bamboo or sticks. Just make a way that the bugs and pollinators can find a place to hide and leave their eggs, or however they pollinators reproduce. Anyway, welcome pollinators. And the reason I want to bring that up is it's so important for all of us. Where's my little gardening stack? I have a stack here to tell everybody to get involved in gardening. So, it's kind of a comeback for victory gardens. I saw this in the paper. Comeback for victory gardens. It's really time for all of us to start an edible garden. And the reason I think this is important is we like to have flowers and color, and we get out and we do little pots of flowers. Not everybody has a garden, but you know what? Anybody can get a pot and put a tomato in it. You can put it on your porch or on your deck, or so think about that. And you might think about some things that you could put in your flower bed. You could maybe even grow lettuce. These might be wrinkled. I don't know if this will show up. Green onions. So there's different things, kale, chard, radishes. There's a lot of things that you can make for a salad that you could put right in your front yard or in flower containers. You could grow some edible garden. So another really neat idea I saw for beans was to do an arch where you could pick the beans from underneath. I've seen many different ways to do that. I love it. Right now people are planting bulbs. What's important about doing a garden is I find myself being really frustrated at how much waste I have. Like in the kitchen when I cut off the bottom of the lettuce, or the leaves or peel off on my cauliflower. And I really hate to put that in my garbage. First of all, it's not good for garbage because it creates methane, and it's when you go to the dump and you put things in the dump, you're not supposed to have biological things happening. They'd like people to all compost, but not everybody can compost. If depending on where you live. I don't like to compost because there's so many animals in my neighborhood. I've got a bobcat. The trapper recently got 3 raccoons. I've got a bear that leaves me signs he's been there. I have rabbits that eat everything. Anyway, so I don't like to put out compost because I feel like I'm calling them in. But you need to feed your soil, and you need to go around wherever you've had wood decompose and see if when I did my burn pile, it turned out there's wonderful dirt at the bottom of it. And the person that was helping me, Dave Bruce, he was helping me burn, and he said, "This is good dirt." And I said, I'm going to go get that. Composting, operating your own little recycling center. You can combine food scraps with leaves and things. But like I say, not everybody's house is up for that. The other opportunity about gardening is that you can go out and graze through your garden in the summer when the tomatoes are ripe. I like to suggest everybody grows cherry tomatoes. I didn't go through these today to get them ready to see what else. Plant-based diet is a healthy option. I cut out articles about some people believe that there should be time-restricted eating. This is very popular right now. A lot of people feel like my friend Wendy, she has low thyroid, and so they want her to have a long period of time sleeping and digesting, and but plant-based diet is really the healthiest way for us to go if we can eat more things closer to their source. One of the things I notice, there's a whole generation of people that are so sick and they have so many allergies, and I have to look at what have we been eating for the last 20 years, and more things have been packaged because it was expeditious, like to get your kids' lunch ready. You could just pick up something and just go along and put all these prepackaged things in the kids' lunch. In the old days, Grandma Swenson would roll out a piece of contact paper, or what's that, wax paper, and she would put, she made sandwiches for 7 kids, and she made cookies every day, and Grandma Swenson made the best lunches for all the kids with a little fruit. And anyway, the point was we used to make lunches. Now we pack prepackaged things. The thing that bothers me the most about what's in packaging is you can't pronounce the words. So what are we eating for the last 10 or 15 years? My kids survived, they turned out fine, but it makes me wonder what's in the food we're eating. So anyway, about vegetables, we all need to try and find ways to eat more. Home remedies. What was it? I found this great little, I find everybody surfs on the internet. I tend to do papers and reading. And so this was interesting because it said prune juice, used to be with kids, they'd give them a teaspoon of castor oil. Dr. Dad's walk it off dirt, rub some on. This was funny. It just had funny things. Soothing tea. 67 million Brits can't be all wrong because they break every day and have tea. We do need to take time out. One of the hard things right now with being indoors, there's been the great equalizer that we've all had the same frustration with being tamped down on what we normally used to do. Now, the weather's changing for us here in the North State, so we can get out again. I still have snow in my yard, but that won't be for long. It's melting. But we can now get out and get about. And one of the hardest things about this virus and people working from home and doing school from home is getting a routine. And so having a schedule, like in the beginning when this was going on and people were home for school, one of the shows I did talked about getting kids ready for school, that they need their own little space to work. They need their own little box of their stuff. If there's any way to make them feel special about their studying, we still have a lot of kids that'll still do charter schools, but the schools are opening, kids are getting back, they're getting the socialization they missed for a year. But on the other side of that, I think there were some good changes in families where they were home and listening to each other, hopefully working things out, being respectful at home. But the point being, we need schedules. When you're working out of your home, it's easy to just have a little toast and go to your computer and then go to the news and then get hungry again. And so you're kind of like a marble in a can, bouncing off the walls. And we really can be more productive with a schedule if we kind of have time limits. Now that I'm retired, I'm not so having to do a product. But if you had to do a weekly product, it's a good idea to have a schedule. Okay, that was one thing I wanted to talk to you about today was gardening, starting a garden. And some of the other things I like to always tell you is to be a tourist in your own town. I like to invite you to go to your local Chamber of Commerce. I don't care where you are in the United States, there's a Chamber of Commerce. All the local businesses join to be able to be posted so that the business community is identified so you can find them with all your social media. But I encourage you to walk into a Chamber of Commerce. I don't care where you live. Walk in and look around at all the different maps, all the different hikes, all the different driving tours. I have this California book, but I also like to show my show in Southern Oregon. And I've always said to people, be a tourist in your own town. When your family comes to visit, you load them up in the car and you drive them here in Mount Shasta. We drive them up on the mountain because they can see forever. And we take them on the hike or we down to the fish hatchery. But all those places we go just because somebody visits, it's also a nice place to take your kids. And nowadays with the charter schools and all the home projects, you can make a project out of it. The kids can come home and write something that they could use for the English class or something. So being a tourist in your own town, every Chamber of Commerce has wonderful books. This one, it tells all the landscaping, nurseries, medical services, metaphysical. We have a lot of places for people to go for soul evolution. Mount Shasta is very cosmic. We have peace and healing. There's a Mystic Muse. St. Germain Foundation is very well known all around the world. Every year in August, I wonder if they'll be doing it this year, they have a pageant. And it's very interesting. St. Germain speaks about Seth Speaks. That's their books of, I don't think they're called, I don't know what it's called. There's ministries. And anyway, telos is a word you hear about Mount Shasta. I mean, it has to do with some sort of, I don't know if I believe this, a place in the mountain. But anyway, it tells where you can stay, it tells about our museum. We have a wonderful museum at the fish hatchery. If you haven't been in there with your family, how long have you lived here and not gone? It's wonderful. It's absolutely full of, you have to go. The museum at the fish hatchery. And if you're in Ashland, come on down for a day drive and get off at the Central Lake Street, turn off, and go west. Pet supplies, private schools, property management. Anyway, this is the kind of thing your Chamber of Commerce will have lots of advertisements and things, but they also have hikes and things. Now, our county also has a senior resource directory. And this is really important. More and more parents are needing caregiver, or with this COVID, we've had a lot of bereavement services and things, but there's also financial and legal, food pantries, hospitals, housing, heating and energy assistance. There's so much for seniors. I'd like to encourage you to find in your local community senior service if you have an elder that you've been trying to help take care of. There's also a family resource guide. I think this is the most newest one, and it's full of a calendar. It tells about all the kind of places to take your kids. It's got games in it. It's just wonderful. This one's called Family Resource Guide. And there's just a lot of work goes into this. It's full of so much information. Please find this in your Chamber of Commerce and figure out what to do with your kids, where to take them. So 5 things to do this spring is take a look at your decks. This is the time of year to help put a coat of something on our deck. It says fertilize the lawn. It says organize a cleanup in your youth. Oh, take your neighborhood. Oh, I've had this brainstorm I've been trying to tell you. So if you have a bunch of teenagers in your neighborhood, this should happen on every block. Summer's coming. But I was thinking like the football team, like 4 guys or something, one of them has a pickup truck. If on Saturday mornings we could get the teens to help us, a lot of us have a garage where all we need to do is have somebody help us take everything out of that garage, and then they can leave with anything we didn't want and go whatever, get rid of it or take it to the dump. But then we can take the time to get our garage organized. I know that we keep thinking, well, we'll get in there and do it, but really it needs to just have everything taken out and decide what to put back. So I'm thinking if we can organize some teens and pay them for a morning's help, there's a lot of neighborhoods. I think the kids ought to get together and go around and say, there's 4 of us, we have a truck, can we help you? I think we need to be creative. With COVID, we've been having to find ways to keep working. There's other needs. There may not be the job that we were doing, but people still have many needs. You might be a young person that rides a bike, and you might go around and say, do you need me to ride to the store and pick up something? You could be an entrepreneur at a young age. Now, I want to remind you, we're living in a tech world. I like to remind you of this. This is really important. I want you to take your computer, your iPad, your cell phone, and go to where, for example, go to your photos and look at the ones you've recently deleted. Get those out of the memory. Go to your emails and get rid of the junk, get rid of the trash, and just try and get data out of your phone. Go to your messages and get rid of any photos that are busy and active and videos. Try and get rid of that data that's being stored. Like if you go to your search engine like Yahoo or Google or Bing or wherever it is that you surf the web, and you go to that bunch of files and touch it, close all those files, close all those pages, and then every day turn your phone off, or every 2 days, just turn it off so it forgets everything that you don't need to carry around with you anymore. And it makes room, and sometimes will speed up your laptop or your cell phone. So I know I'm kind of getting close to the end. I wanted to talk to you about not being too proud, speaking of the senior resources, to take advantage of the nutrition program. John, I think I have a picture for the nutrition program at the city park in Mount Shasta, but in Wairika, I don't know where the location is. In Weed, once a week, Dunsmuir once a week, but in Mount Shasta, 4 days a week, if you're 60 years old, they do have a meal. Don't be too proud. They do accept donations, like $3 for a meal, and you can pay for a meal if you have family in town, you want to pay extra. But for seniors, the reason it's important is it gives you variety. I'm not sure seniors cook for themselves so much. They might snack or something, but this way they get variety and they get full meals, and it's every day. And we're not going in and sitting down at a table like in the old days. You just drive up and they give it to you and you drive away and you can eat it later. So please consider that. Now, before I hang up, I want to tell you about Frida. Say her name.
Frida Kahlo.
Frida Kahlo. And I think you have a close-up for this. I want to show people this apron. It's so wonderful. My girlfriend Lynn in Ashland gifted me with this, and I love it. I actually hanging it so I can see it. What was wonderful about her, she was born in like 1920, and she was always depicting herself in her artwork. I don't know if I've got a good coverage of this for you, but I wanted you to see this. She also has De los Muertes, which we've had over 500,000 people die from the COVID. And we still have people dying. So we have to do whatever we can to try and contain this virus. And trying to think of what my word for the day is. I have to end with a word for the day. So I guess it's listen to your angels. All of us have sometimes a sixth sense about something, and all of a sudden you're thinking about someone and they call, or you think about somebody, call them. Because we really do have 6 degrees of separation, and somehow we're all connected, kind of like mushrooms in the forest. That mycelium is all connected. And mushrooms are important. I should encourage you to look that up more. I think to our health, we're going to be finding out more about mushrooms. There's mushrooms on the Northwest that have lived like 100 years on trees. They've got pictures of them. That's pretty incredible when you think of an organism that it is. I don't know what it is. I should learn more. Anyway, thanks. So enjoy today. Forget about yesterday and just say, I'm going to feel good today and breathe and walk and stretch. That's the last thing I want to say. Find a door jamb or a door, put your back up against it, and you'll see we're starting to curl as a people. We need to get our shoulders back and stand up and feel that string and pull it up and just greet the day. Carpe diem, seize the day. See you later.